and welcome to the channel. It's Paulie, Esther here, and it's been a tumultuous last couple of days between myself and the rest of the community and Dead by Daylight, to say the least. I've been at loggerheads with them. If you've seen my streams, you've seen me ranting about this whole Streetwise situation, but we finally have some good news on that front with a patch that's coming today. But I simply couldn't, in good conscience, promote the new Lara Croft cosmetics to all of you yesterday with this Streetwise situation going on. If you don't know what it is, the Streetwise perk was bugged in that when you pull an item out of a chest, it adds 80% more charges to it. So therefore, if you were to bring your item over to a chest and swap your item in and out of the chest repeatedly, you would add 1.8 times the number of charges to that item each time you put it in and out of the chest. So it was like doing the hokey pokey. You put your toolbox in, you put your toolbox out, you put your toolbox in, and you shake it all about. You got infinite charges and you could do all the gens. That's what it's all about. Yeah, so 1.8 times, 1.8 times, 1.8 times, 1.8 times. When you stack up all those multipliers, you wind up with basically an infinite amount of charges that can do like 80 gens in 40 seconds flat each time. So you can do every gen on the map in half the time required. And similarly, you could do this with medkits and get infinite heals, flashlights, infinite charges for blinding, etc., etc. So I pushed on Sunday for this to be kill switched, as many of the other content creators did. I didn't hear anything back. And then we got the official word around 2 p.m., I think it was, on Monday, that this didn't need to be kill switched. And the community was up in arms that they didn't qualify for the criteria of game breaking, which, as myself and many others said, well, then your criteria is flawed, because if you don't think being able to do gens in half the time is game breaking, I don't know what is. And so the entire community lost their mind, rightfully so, because look, this is the way I explained it on my stream. This is a live service game. We expect for there to be bugs in it, and we can be forgiving and accepting that that's going to happen, and that the team is going to do their best to fix these as quickly as possible. We're all human. We all make mistakes. We can understand when others make mistakes. We can forgive others when others make mistakes. However, when it crosses into this line of mistrust, where we all know that Dead by Daylight has this tool at their disposal that they can flick a switch. I mean, from our estimation, that's how simple it seems, that they can flick a switch and take something out of the game so that it can't be exploited until they can fix it. And the refusal to do so, that is a different matter entirely. It erodes trust between the player base and the community, and that is a terrible, terrible thing that you never want to have in your game. We can forgive mistakes, but we can't forgive mistrust. And that's the thing that is going to just erode away at your player base, and you can have your whole game go down the tubes like a house of cards. And that's why I thought this was a decision. It was the easiest PR win to say, we've got your back, and kill switch this and a couple of other perks. And their refusal to do it was, in my estimation, the absolute worst decision. It was the strangest hill to die on. It seemed so tone deaf for what the community wanted, and I just could not wrap my head around it. I could not fathom why they were taking this tack on it. Maybe there's a piece of the puzzle that I'm missing about how complicated it is to use the kill switch. They acted like we had to get Matthew Cote and Dave Richard to both drive in and stand at 10 feet away and put in their keys at the same time and turn them simultaneously to kill switch the perks like they were launching nukes or something. But anyway, we wound up with this statement. Now, remember, Jocelyn is just the messenger here. This is coming from on high. It's not her decision solely. But she said Streetwise doesn't meet the criteria for a kill switch. It sucks to have to say that plainly, as the last thing I wanted to do is minimize player concerns or frustrations. The team is aware it's being monitored, but it's not breaking the game. And that the last part is the part that really stuck with everybody, to suggest that it wasn't breaking the game. And the ratio here between the down vote and the up vote, like 230 to 8, is like something I've never seen before on the community forums. I didn't really talk about Streetwise in my last video. I just kind of touched on it, mentioned it briefly, because I didn't want to like perpetuate the people using it. I try to avoid informing people how to exploit things, because I feel like it does more harm than good. Me like giving you a tutorial how to exploit things winds up with just more people exploiting things. So I didn't really want to explain what was wrong with it, but I was very aware in my last video. And yeah, so this went over like a fart in church, this comment here, and then they went on to say, respectfully, considering how long it takes to even exploit the bug, it isn't affecting games enough to meet the criteria. I'm not discounting the frustration or feedback about how it's being used. However, until it is game breaking, it will not receive a kill switch. It is a nuclear option. Anyway, so they're wrong about how long it takes to exploit the bug. It doesn't take that long to juice up your item. It really doesn't. So they're wrong about that. And then they go to a few other things about the pick rate. Not many people are using it. It does not matter. It doesn't matter how many people are using it, which I would say it would be accelerating on the daily how many people were using it. And to protect, you should be more concerned with protecting every game's health as much as possible, instead of pointing to, well, not many people are using it and exploiting it. Even more reason that you should kill switch it, because then not that many people are going to miss it when you take it out, right? Game integrity is paramount. And they basically refused to do that for this. And the community was in an uproar over this, rightfully so. I absolutely, from the beginning, thought it needed to be kill switched. My mouth was agape when when my friends sent me that this was the official response. And everyone hated it. Dead by Daylight had lost the plot. The players no longer felt like they had their back when they weren't willing to make what seemed to us to be the simplest of decisions to protect game integrity. And it was absolutely the wrong decision. I couldn't believe it. I cannot stress enough how much I was against this before they even came out with the official statement. So 24 hours later, they have realized the error of their ways, and they have given us a much better statement on this. And let's go ahead and read through it. Dead by Daylight bug fix status update. Hello, folks. We have followed your conversations very closely about the state of the game at late, and we agree it's not in the place we would all like it to be. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I'm not trying to kick the devs when they're down. And I know that the devs are just as unpleased as anyone that the game isn't where it needs to be. The bugs are mounting. They really need to address it. There is no denying that. Recent releases, including our most recent, have introduced frustrating new issues which have distracted from your enjoyment of Dead by Daylight. We want to acknowledge this and let you in on the steps we'll be taking to resolve these issues in the short and long term. Next steps. Along with posting this message, we are kill switching the following perks which currently have issues. Streetwise, for the reasons mentioned already. Blood Rush. Blood Rush was allowing you to recharge your endurance while running so you could get like infinite sprint burst. And Last Stand. Tomorrow, August 6th, this is today. This was published yesterday. They kill switched the bugs yesterday, thankfully. Again, this was like a 24-hour period from start to finish, from the dev's official message to this new official message. Tomorrow, August 6th, we're releasing a hotfix to address a number of the issues introduced recently. This hotfix will address the issues related to Streetwise and Last Stand. Also, Last Stand was allowing you to vault more quickly than you should. That was the problem with that one. But we agree we should not wait any longer to activate the kill switch on them, and we're doing so now. So I do appreciate this, that even though these issues are going to be solved today in the patch, they went ahead and kill switched them early. So that's a good thing. We will also make small adjustments to fog vials, decreasing the base fog opacity and the volume of the ambient fog audio. And another hotfix is underway, scheduled to follow next week. And among others, this hotfix will address the blood rush issues you're currently experiencing in the game, and the fog vials will also be adjusted to add a limit to their uses in trial, moving away from unlimited uses. So looks like it's going to have charges. Process overhaul. As a result of your feedback and internal discussions on the same topic, I have no doubts that after the devs' official response was received so poorly that they said we need to get together and talk about this, that they had meetings, and this message was crafted probably throughout the first 3 or 4 hours of the workday yesterday, and this is what we came up with. They said, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? As a result of your feedback and internal discussions on the same topic, we will immediately be rebuilding our internal kill switch process to be more nimble and better account for community sentiment. So this is the part that makes me think that this might be the missing puzzle, that we don't realize how complicated it is to kill switch something. As far as we're concerned, you just turn stuff on and off and that should be fine, right? But maybe it is a little more complicated than we are aware. Rebuilding our internal kill switch process to be more nimble and better account for community sentiment. We understand you have an expectation of this tool that doesn't match how we have been using it and wish to improve this. Man, maybe you really do need Dave and Matt to come turn the keys at the same time. I don't know. Once we've settled on a new process, we will clearly communicate the criteria to trigger a kill switch to make sure your expectations are better in line with our actions. And finally, we want to address the comments made by the team about the kill switch and Streetwise. Remember, Jocelyn is just the delivering the message. She's the messenger. She didn't make those decisions. This was a team decision. It's not solely on her shoulders. We apologize for how these comments dismiss your feelings about the importance of quickly addressing Streetwise and further fan the flames of an already tense topic. Yes, it created unnecessary hostility between the devs and the community because of their inability to use this tool. It was so unnecessary. And I don't care about, like, the feelings part is important. The video game industry is very competitive, and there are a lot of other games that people can play. And the feelings, I don't care about your facts about how many people are using the perk or your misperception about how easy or difficult it is to abuse the perk. The feelings overall that we couldn't believe you were satisfied leaving this in was the important part that they missed, right? We're grateful for your feedback, which helps us identify places where we can improve and reevaluate our processes, changing course when it's needed to improve the Dead by Daylight experience for all. As a live game, we know this conversation is ongoing, and we appreciate you being a part of it with us. Yes, since it is a live game, we need tools to make live adjustments. And I was very happy to see this. It took me a couple of hours to actually come down from all of my emotion yesterday over this situation. How I personally felt like Dead by Daylight was missing the point and we're going in the absolute wrong direction. Now that I've been able to sit with it, you know, I feel like we've had an argument and we've come out better for it on the other side. And at the end of the day, sure, nobody wanted to have this argument, but we got where we want it to be. We've reached the point where we want it to be. And so I'm grateful for that. And then we have these patch notes here. They're going to talk about what's actually being changed today. But the important part is this is the year of quality of health, and we need to see it. So they're saying all the right things, and I'll give them credit for that. But now we need them to show us. And this was the first step of them showing us by turning these perks off immediately. And now we build from here. Because, like I said, this industry is tumultuous. We've seen a couple of rounds of labor let go on this game already. So for them to put their game in jeopardy over something as silly as the unwillingness to turn off a perk that was broken in the game was mind-boggling, to say the least. Like, you always want to be seen on the side of players, protecting players, and this decision flew in the face of that. And they probably lost some people already, even in that 24-hour period, because of this. And you always just want to be seen as generous, on the side of players, doing right by your players. And this was an absolute misstep. And I tried to tell them, and they got there. But, man, we went through a lot of stuff that we didn't have to, that it could have been so avoided. It was an easy PR, like, we got your back, we're turning these off, and we're going to work on the rest. Thanks for sticking with us. We appreciate your patience. That's all they had to do. And they fumbled it. They really fumbled it. There's some of you out there who are watching this right now who are like, they've lost my trust. They're going to have to prove it to me. And rightfully so. Rightfully so. So you reap what you sow. But here we are. And we're just going to be hopeful that they take this seriously. They've seen what happens if they lose the whole community. It's over. So you got to put some serious resources into fixing not only these new things like these 3 perks, but beyond. There's a lot of bugs in the game. They're building up. They need to seriously address it, or it's over. All right. I'm not going to go into these patch notes. You'll see them. That's coming out today. I'm glad they got where I thought they need to be. Rebuilding trust with the community. We'll turn the page and move forward, but they got to show us. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. As always, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate the time you spend here with me on my channel. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. Is it irreparable for you? I want to know what you think. Let me know how you feel. Curious to hear the sentiment of the community. So, take care of each other in and out of the fog, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
It's a Gen Rush life for us. It's a Gen Rush life for us. Set a hiding, we do gens. Set a randoms, we got friends. It's a Gen Rush life.